28 years, I've enjoyed a wonderful career working with people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, and I've been able to train staff for the past 14 years. But I've also just finished up a rewarding 20-year career on the Golden Valley Fire Department. Along the way, I've learned many things, not only about firefighting, but about the business of working with people. I'm not saying that we do everything right on the fire department, but there are some principles that I think we need to use in the human service. First of all, firefighters think they're important. And this mindset comes from the fact that society thinks we're important. People call us heroes. In the news, TV dramas, and movies, we're depicted as being strong, courageous, and brave, for being willing to run into buildings and saving lives. We are the ones that they call to save the day when someone's at the worst. It's that mindset that draws us to what we do in our job. As human beings, we all desire to feel a sense of importance. I've learned that if you can convince people that the work that they do is important, they will be heavily invested in their job. Number two, don't train until you get it right. Train until you don't get it wrong. That's what my former training chief, Steve Baker, always said. We always feel that we're important and great because we've been trained to be important and great. I've had the privilege to be on a department in which the training is valued and also seen as essential. We spent hours and hours of training. Without training, we can't do anything. It's too complex. It's too crucial. Every firefighter comes in knowing very little about firefighting. In fact, rookies can do very little until they are trained. But there is an expectation that they will all eventually do everything that the other firefighters do through training. 3. Supervisors have a commitment to their subordinates. This is Chief Crowley. He's revered by his crew because of their deep respect for his experience and knowledge of firefighting and his ability to share that with his department. I also respect him because of his deep commitment to his people under him. He carries the responsibility of the entire department. He knows that if anything goes wrong, it's on him, and he's the one who has to go to the door of their spouses if something goes wrong. He is concerned about the livelihood of each and every person under him, and he takes the time to get to know them and their families. The wonderful thing about the leadership on the department is that each of the officers have carried on this ability to show this caringness, and is passed down to all of the officers as well as the other firefighters. Which leads to this. We have a commitment to each other. It has been such an honor to be a part of this prestigious group of people who are so committed to not only helping the community, but to each other. We have an extraordinary peer network where we see ourselves as brothers and sisters. We know each other's families, and we're willing to go into a fire and pull each other out. We're also willing to hold each other accountable. We can correct each other or call each other out because we have a relationship with each other, and we're all focused on the common goal. We reward teamwork, and we reward selflessness. We celebrate accomplishments together, and this is what I'll miss the most. It's been an honor and a privilege to be a part of a group of people who have developed a camaraderie and deep affection for each other, and I thank them for giving me that sense of belonging. 5. Nurture the rookies. Gone are the days of hazing the rookies. I'm proud to be on a department that is not only welcoming to the new members, but I've seen veteran firefighters go out of their way to teach and mentor their new peers. Not only do we want these people to be successful and stay, but we realize that we're making our team stronger and more successful by sharing our knowledge and experience with them. We all commit to standards. Part of our culture is how we do things. There are expectations that are clearly made and taught. We do regular inspections of our trucks and equipment without shortcuts. We wouldn't dare put up an air pack back into service unless we did a multi-point check. Why? Because none of us could bear knowing that they were responsible for another getting hurt. We have an ownership and a pride for our trucks, a pride for our station. We would never want to have someone come in and see a dirty truck or station. And this is instilled into our culture. We know that without these standards, there's no safety, there's no organization, just chaos. Everyone has a role, and everyone knows what that role is. An important part of this is that we do hold each other accountable. Social influence is a big motivator for people to follow standards. Change happens, do it or die. The fire department has changed, whether it has been our trucks, our equipment, our tactics, or our culture. We have gone through many situations where we have realized that change was beneficial or absolutely necessary for our lives and livelihood. You would think that a lot of these changes would be met with open arms, but sometimes they're not. Many firefighters thought it was too cumbersome to put on bunker pants, wear an air pack, or put on a seatbelt, and fought these new policies and procedures. The fact is, the old ways were killing us. And so modern advances have helped us to be faster, more efficient, and more importantly, safer. So we must embrace changes that are necessary to make our industries better. We must learn from our mistakes. About 5 years into my career, our station was called to an early morning car fire. Car fires are exciting because we get to put out fire in a situation where there's less danger than a house fire. I was excited to be pump operator on that call, but on that day the excitement overcame my ability to think clearly. In the process of preparing to flow water, I not only did not fully put the truck into pump, but I did not take the steps to make sure that it was safe to flow water. As a result, as I increased the throttle on the engine suddenly rolled forward and eventually crashed into the burning truck. Fortunately, my crew was able to get out of the way in time, but the collisions caused several $1,000s to our engine. After many humbling discussions with my officers and thorough training, I decided to make it a learning moment for everyone on the department. I wrote everyone a thorough email detailing everything that I did wrong and explaining what I should have done instead. That email was used for several years by the training instructor for the Hennepin County Fire Academy. We don't make mistakes often, and we don't want them to happen, but they will occur. And we must humble ourselves, take ownership, and learn from them. 9. There is no 912. Here's the dirty little secret about being a firefighter. We don't actually put out a lot of major fires. We usually go to under 10 fires a year. The rest of our calls are typically false alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, burnt food, smell of smoke or gas, or assisting someone when they've fallen. There's a lot of relatively minor situations. In fact, in my 20 years, I've been to plenty of calls where we asked ourselves, why did they call us for that? We had a really good chief point out to us, though, there is no 912. In times where people are having a tough time and don't know what to do, they call 911 because they don't have anyone else to call. Now, in the human services, we may not see things as much of an issue, but customer service requires us to respond with a call and a We're here to help. Finally, remember your why. Most people likely get into firefighting for the same reason I did. We have compassion and a strong passion inside of us to help other people in moments of their greatest needs. We do it selflessly, without asking for recognition or even as thank you. And so always start with your why in everything that you do, and it will lead you well.